Hi, and welcome to Rock Talk, Round Rock ISD's roundtable discussions where we talk about the items that impact our parents. Joining me today on our panel to talk about food services and free and reduced lunch programs are Kelly Grones, our Director of Food Services, and our Chief Operating Officer, Mr. Bob Cervi. Thank you for joining us on Rock Talk.
Our pleasure.
Thank you for having us.
So obviously, school lunches and school breakfasts are a huge component of what we do in school districts. I mean, it's not just about teaching and learning in the classrooms. It's about feeding, and when Bob, and your experiences, also about making sure they get there and the facilities are looking really good. Kelly, if you could just start off and give us a grand scope of how much food we serve as a school district.
Sure. Well, as you know, there's 50 schools throughout the school district, and so we serve breakfast and lunch at all of those schools. We also have an after-school snack program, and we serve dinner at some of our schools as well. So all in all, that's close to 40,000 meals that we serve every day throughout our school district.
And from an operations standpoint, Bob, what are the things that the school district does to support food and breakfast?
The biggest thing is we have the central kitchen where a lot of the preparation can be taken care of in advance. It also helps plan out the calendars. In touring being new to the district and in touring the central kitchen, what fascinated me as much was tomorrow's is already taken care of as far as what's going to take place and how it is staged. So they're always one day ahead, which makes things flow a whole lot easier for both the schools and planning within the schools. And on the other side, there's just a support mechanism where Kelly has two people that she has on staff that report to any downtime they may have with any equipment, but also that backup of if she needs something from David Hodebeck in maintenance, that they can respond as well to help support that area.
So Kelly, maybe you can speak a little more in-depthly to the concept of a central kitchen. Where is it located, and how does that make Round Rock ISD operate efficiently in providing a high-quality product?
Sure. We actually have two centralized kitchens within the school district. The one on the west side of town in the Great Oaks complex and Brushy Creek complex is a bake shop. And so all the baking is done for the school district in that kitchen. So rolls, breadsticks, the cinnamon rolls that are served on Fridays are all baked.
Smells really good.
Yeah, it's a little hard to work there. But, all baked from scratch, from flour to just handmade by the ladies in our central kitchen. The other side of town, on the east side of town, connected to the Round Rock Opportunity Center, is what we call Central Kitchen 2. And it's actually a cook-chill facility. And they take products such as ground beef, cheese, whatever, and make from scratch products like ground beef they may make into spaghetti sauce or taco meat. And they bag it and chill it and send it to the schools where it's reheated to be served to the students.
Awesome. And Bob, being our newest member of the Round Rock ISD leadership team, people out there might not know that you have experience in the classroom and as a coach. In your experience as an educator, what is the impact of making sure that kids are well fed and have a good, solid nutritional base and have the opportunity to have meals at school?
Children aren't going to learn if their stomach's gurgling. They're more worried about that. So that's what's the important part, and that's where breakfast has come in to be a huge part of that. They come to us sometimes with no breakfast and be able to get that nutrition in their systems and get the digestion system going and started going and get the brain activity moving is a huge factor. And then, of course, in through lunch, where and some of the classrooms even have breakfast in the classroom. I was in a school just the other day, and it was at Berkman. And they were so excited because they were getting to take their trays back to the classroom for lunch. And they were all of them. I was walking with the principal, and they were just so excited to show their trays. And you can build the learning into that as part of a curriculum if you want to. What food types do you have? Where is that food pyramid on your tray, and how is that nourishment to your body, and how is it working? So it's a huge factor.
And Kelly, we've already mentioned breakfast in the classroom and the dinner meals that we serve here as well at some of our schools. Can you talk about some of the other programs that exist in terms of food services?
Yeah, we do everything we can possible to increase access. The National School Lunch Program is really built around and for the economically disadvantaged student. And so, and as you know, lunch times, breakfast times, to give you an example of breakfast in the classroom, when you have, let's say, 800 students in a school and, over 50% of those students are free and reduced. That's 500 students that could be there to eat breakfast in the morning in a 20-minute time span. And so getting those through the line would be impossible without a program such as breakfast in the classroom. Other schools, we do things like breakfast carts. You get into the high schools and middle schools, they don't necessarily want to go to the cafeteria. They want to be with their friends in the morning. So we provide in some schools like a breakfast cart where they can grab it and go and be social with their friends. So those are a couple of the programs that we have in the district.
Well, then at some of our high schools, if you could talk a little bit more about, and kind of that same mentality in the high school model, kind of near the libraries, near cafeterias, we have the cafes. Can you speak more to that program?
Sure, we have Java cities in all of our high schools, and that came from when they were doing the charrettes for the models for Cedar Ridge High School. They really wanted to make it as close to a higher education environment as possible, and so having a coffee shop next to the cafeteria or next to the library was very important to them to have that environment. And so that's something that we provided all of our high school not all of our, 3 of our high school campuses. We have the Java City. And you think, I know we get a lot of, it's caffeine for those students, but one of our biggest sellers in the Java City is actually the fruit smoothies, and they're 100% fruit smoothies. So they like the idea of having the coffee shop, but it's really the fruit smoothies they go after.
And it's those opportunities, right, to collaborate and to, study together and have their social time and, healthy and nutritious foods available.
Again, it's environment for the students. It's how can we best provide that learning environment that caters to the 21st century student of our school district. And so that we're always looking for innovative ways to do that.
So across, Kelly, can you go a little bit and explain your background? You're a nutritionist, correct? A certified nutritionist?
Yes, I'm a registered dietitian.
Registered dietitian,
Yes,
I'm
sir.
sorry. Obviously, the concern with lots of parents are the nutritional value of our meals, and a lot of parents don't understand that our meals are very nutritious, but also are in alignment with the guidelines set by the U.S. Department of Agriculture and the Texas Department of Agriculture. Can you speak to the nutritional values that our menus have?
Yeah, part of being on the National School Lunch and School Breakfast program is that we have to meet the compliance of that program, and nutrition compliance is a huge part of that. Our meals have to meet very rigorous nutritional guidelines. They have to meet calories. We have to have minimums amounts of grains and meats. We have saturated fat requirements, sodium requirements that we have to meet. All students must take a fruit or vegetable with their meal for us to be able to claim that meal. All of our grains must be whole grain rich. And so, it's funny because we're always so worried as a culture where, it's in the news and we're so worried about obesity. But one of the biggest challenges we have is getting students to take enough food on their tray to meet the calorie needs that are set forth that we have to meet. Even when a student, we plan a menu and we think, okay, this is a great plan in theory and it meets all the requirements. We have to take the actuals of what they actually ate and chose in that line and put them back into the planning to make sure that moving forward we serve that same cycle, that it's truly going to meet their nutritional needs. And again, one of the biggest hurdles is making sure they're taking enough food to meet the calorie needs.
So the challenges are the areas that we work around as a school district or work through in terms of food services. It's not only about meeting the nutritional needs and meeting the needs of our students. It's also about making sure that it's priced appropriately and that it's something that students would like to eat. Correct? What are your methods for kind of tracking all of that in terms of demand and what's being taken in our class in our cafeteria?
Well, as I said, it's real important that they're actually picking up the food and eating the food. That's very important to us. So we have multiple avenues. I try to get as much feedback as we can from our students, because at the end of the day, that's what we want to do. That's why we do what we do, is for our students, and we want to make them happy. So we have the climate surveys that go out to all campuses throughout the year, and we get those results back. We use that for strategic planning. We also have a viewpoint survey that goes out just to secondary students around January, February, and we get very quality data, very detailed data back as far as what their dining habits are and what they want to see on their serving lines. We also we have a food service feedback form on our website that we monitor that as well. We have the Superintendent's Advisory Council that we get to go to and try new products. We tested a few products on them last year to get feedback from them as well. We do focus groups in our schools. We've done samplings in our schools. And so there's a lot of different avenues that we try to get out and talk to students and try to get their feedback on our meals.
So voice of customer is huge.
Huge for us, huge for us.
Awesome.
Yes, sir.
And Bob, the operations of such a massive scale, can you talk about purchasing, the things that have to go into making sure that we have the food and the services we need, staffing?
Well, and that's, in fact, we're working with putting together through your Department of Video, recruiting video, on the staffing part of it, because it's systemic right now across this part of Austin, shortages in bus drivers and personnel. The downside of a good economy is it's difficult to find those people, so that's out there. The other thing that we find is that through the buying power that Aramark is able to bring forward, that is a huge savings back to the district because of the broad purchasing power that they do bring with them, and that helps the district save funds on that side of it. And then, of course, having the two kitchens to where it's not a small operation. Having it split up to where you are focused in on your entree and then your breads is very big, in that you're getting fresh product out that's not made well in advance and then set back. It's day before and then sent out. So that really helps with the freshness of the food itself. And I was sitting here listening, and the big thing too on what is being eaten is just the general eye test. You can see, and elementary kids are brutally honest. They'll let you know if something doesn't taste good. So you have that instantaneous feedback as well. You know, middle school, they kind of get a little bit more tactful. In high school, they just kind of, it's hard to get them to talk. But little bitty ones, they'll tell you right away if it's not very good. But those are some of the things that we do operationally. And then, of course, you know, the loading docks, being able to load the food on the trucks and get them to each site and get their routes down to where we cut down on wasted time and windshield time.
And something they don't think about sometimes as far as purchasing, that we get a lot of push to buy local. And we try to as much as we can, particularly Texas. We consider local the state of Texas. But something we have to be very careful of is that is it safe? That's our number one job, our number one priority of what we do is making sure that the food that we serve is safe. And that really starts with making sure that the vendors that we're purchasing it from grew it safely, had safe manufacturing practices, and that it's going to be a safe product for our students.
So, and Bob, you started mentioning Aramark when it was the first time kind of in this venue that we've mentioned that Aramark is our third-party partner in supplying our food services in our schools. Can, either, I don't know, if Bob or Kelly, one of you kind of explain just for, you know, in a general kind of overview in a simple way, how does the relationship work with Aramark and Round Rock ISDs?
What's been very helpful for me is it's the way Aramark has presented itself. It's not as a third party. It's a partnership, and it's not viewed as them. It's just in our staff meeting earlier today, it was all the directors, and at no point did it come up that that's something outside of it. And I think that's what makes the partnership work so well, is you don't see it as another company. It's just part of our group of what we are able to provide as part of we're customer service is what we do, support services. So everything we do is for our customers, and our customers are our parents and our students. So I haven't felt that nor seen any type of, other than a very smooth operation. I'll let you hop in from there.
Well, and with that partnership, as Bob said, there's a joint, feel and mission of customer service, and our food service representatives are amazing at the campuses and building relationships. Kelly, do you want to talk about some of that customer service that goes into it at the campus?
Sure. We've been a partner with this school district for 38 years now, and we never take that for granted. Round Rock ISD is such a fantastic district to be a part of, just always pushing the envelope and always trying that next thing and for the betterment of the students. And the staff is a family. I say, when I came to Round Rock, it's like a family here, and it you see that in what we deliver to our students. And so it makes it really fun to be a part of that. And I think that trickles down to our frontline staff. How we serve our frontline staff is how they serve our consumers. And so we have 350 employees in the district. All of our frontline staff are district employees. They're not Aramark employees. But the team that manages the food service department, we're Aramark employees. And how our contract works is Aramark charges a fee for us to manage the district, but all the revenues and all the expenses belong to the district. So anything left over at the end of that is the district's money. So we run a very stable financial department. We've made considerable reinvestment back into the district, and that's where we really find our value is we want to serve our students first, make sure that they're well fed with the highest quality product that we can afford. Something that we're proud of and something that our frontline staff can be proud of and execute and serve to their best of their abilities every day. And then be able to sustain ourselves. Anything that we would have to take from the general fund is taking from education. So we want to support ourselves as far as equipment and facilities and support of our staff.
And Aramark as a partner, as you mentioned, Bob, gives us buying power and creates efficiencies because they're a big national company who does this in other school districts as well as venues and businesses across the country. So it's important to note that the reasoning is because Aramark has a great reputation for excellence as well as the efficiencies that they can kind of create. A big program in school districts is the free and reduced lunch program. Kelly, can you talk to what that program is and how parents should get involved and why they need to get involved when they are eligible?
Yeah, it's a great program. And every family, because it can be a family application, it doesn't have to be a single student submitting an application, but every family has to reapply for their benefits every year. But if they apply for benefits and they meet, it's totally based on income and the number of people in their household. So based on that information, if they meet a certain economic standard, income standard, then they can receive or be eligible for free meals or reduced meals. In our district in particular, going back to financials, we even feed our reduced students for free as well because we're financially able to do that. And so if they are eligible for free or reduced price meals, they eat breakfast and lunch for free at the campus. But also if they're eligible, it's tied to so many other things, and you may be able to speak to that as well. But as far as the funding that our schools get, Title I funding. We had a parent who had called me and she was wondering they get, their college applications, some of those fees get waived. Some of their extracurricular activity fees get waived if they qualify for free and reduced meals. So it's not just the food service program that qualifies these students, but if they qualify for that free and reduced lunch program, then they can qualify for so many other benefits as well.
So the key takeaway is the free and reduced program is about helping kids.
Yes.
We've already established Bobby and an ex-educator and will continue to educator, a former classroom educator and coach, is that meals, healthy, nutritious, are an important part of a child's life. The free and reduced program helps to support that funding from a district standpoint, from an individual school standpoint, for an array of resources. So it's important for people to get enrolled. Can you tell us again real quick how parents can go in and enroll in free and reduced lunch?
Sure. There's two different methods. They can fill out a paper application, but the method that we really try to encourage parents to utilize is the online application. Simply because the paper application, if you turn it into, let's say, a teacher, it could go to a secretary, and then it has to go to a driver, and then it has to get to our office, and it could get lost in any where along the way. Also, there could be errors on that application, and we have to call back and get those errors corrected, and then there could be some delay in getting it processed, whereas the online application, it won't let you move forward if you make an error on that application. And also, once you submit it, you get a confirmation number, so you know it was submitted, and you can say, I know I submitted it, here's my confirmation. And two, it comes to our system at that moment, and so we process those within 24 hours. of receiving them. So a very quick and less error-prone way of submitting the application. And speaking further to that point, people would really be amazed at how many students are hungry in our school district, and who that meal, that breakfast or that lunch may be that only meal that student gets in a day. And so it's a very important program.
Awesome. So we'll definitely make sure that, we put at the bottom of the video, we'll have a nice little graphic that has the link. I'm going to point to it, so this is where it's going to be on the video in post-production. We have two more kind of areas, and then that I want to touch upon before we wrap up, and meeting the needs of the students and making sure that we have good voice of customer. One of the things we've been able to offer parents in the last couple of years is an online kind of debit card system for handling school lunch funding. Can you speak to what that program is called and how that functions for parents?
Sure. Our point of sale system, we were able to completely replace it last year, so we have the latest and greatest system. So that was a great investment for our parents, we hope. It's myschoolbucks.com. It's on our website if you want to go. You can, if you want to put money in your student's account, there is a fee that goes with it. But if you want to just sign up and see what your student's eating every day, or set up alerts for if my student's meal gets below $5, let me know. That's all a free service. And so it's not just for putting money in students' accounts, it's really a parent monitoring system of what students are eating and their lunch account balance as well. So I encourage parents to utilize it. It's a great resource.
Awesome. Is there anything else we could look forward to coming down the road?
Well, and to that, if you can go on and see what your child is eating, as a parent of a type 1 diabetic, that's an important function. Or if there's other food allergies, you can see if, okay, just because I'm not looking doesn't mean I don't see. So that's a wonderful, wonderful thing to be able to look back on and say, okay, here's why blood sugar is high, or here's why, we're having these issues, because we went back and saw what was being eaten in food. And it's a lot easier for a parent to be able to go back and look at that type of thing.
Well, just to clarify, so is this just showing the menus, or is this actually showing exactly what the kids are ordering?
It's exactly showing what they took.
Oh, wow.
If they took entree 1, it'll say entree 1, and that coincides with the menu. And if they bought, let's say, a bag of chips and a drink to go with that, it'll show chips and drink and what the price for that. And so, absolutely.
And obviously, students of all different kind of dietary needs. What are we doing to meet the needs of the special kind of things that some of our students meet? It's very important from an education standpoint that we're serving the needs of all 48,000 students in our district, but also from a nutritional standpoint. What steps does food service take from your diabetic student to your student with a peanut allergy to your student who's a vegetarian?
Yes, as a registered dietitian, we take all of the above very seriously. We communicate quite a bit with our school nurses. We really collaborate and work with them very closely. We feel like the variety on our menu is there to really meet the allergies, common food allergies, or if a student's, let's say, lactose intolerant, or they want to follow a gluten-free. The variety on the menu is there to be able to meet those needs. If a student has a life-threatening allergy, that's much more serious. Of course, safety, again, being our #1 job. There's a form that they fill out, and we work with their physician. It has to be signed by their doctor, and we really work with the physician, the physician's nurse, the school nurse, and our menu planner. And we've done that to come up with special diets if what's on our current menu isn't sufficient to meet that student's needs. As far as diabetics, we send our carb counts and everything to the school nurses as far as our menu analysis every month. And a lot of people don't think about the cultural diversity that we have in our district, a very diverse school district. And we try, we put chana masala on our menu, on our elementary menu this year, just to try to meet those pocket needs and know that they're there. And it also exposes, cultural diversity is something we're constantly trying to educate on, whether it's our employees as a district and students themselves. And so really using that as a learning platform as well. We feel like it's sort of bringing us into the classroom too.
Well, and every moment can be a learning moment, right? And a teaching moment for our schools. So I want to hit home on one more topic. Going real quick, so parents have a lot of involvement in their schools and their students' meal plans. Is there any other kinds of features that they can have in terms of working with their students' meal choices?
Sure. If they look on the My School Bucks and they see, Susie's buying a bag of chips every day, and I don't want Susie to do that, they can certainly reach out to their cafeteria manager and set limits on their students' accounts, or let's say they only want them to have something on Fridays. We definitely communicate with them. We have the phone numbers on our website under our staff, so they can do that as well.
Awesome. So the last topic before we wrap up, smart snacks. This is the new latest and greatest here at Round Rock ISD. Can you explain can you briefly kind of give a summation of what smart snacks are and how it impacts students?
Sure. Having requirements around what foods can be sold in schools is nothing really new to us in the state of Texas, because we lived under the Texas school nutrition policy for so long. But the federal government came in about a year ago and said, we want to put these regulations in place in all of the United States, not just state by state. And so USDA came out with their own set of rules, and they termed them smart snacks. So, of course, Texas went through and they repealed Texas school nutrition policy because there was some overlap and a little bit of confusion between the two. And so now we're under just fully under the umbrella of the USDA Smart Snack regulations. How that changed for us, we had the term FMNV, foods of minimal nutritional value, that was ingrained in us for years, and that has sort of gone away. Anything that's given to a student for free now isn't really regulated as it was regulated before under Texas school nutrition policy. So if something's given to a student for free, then there's no real nutritional requirement around it. For the high schools, we have exempt days, and we always lived under 3 exempt days for district-wide under Texas school nutrition policy, but now under Smart Snacks, it can be up to 6 days. Now, our local policy went into place where we allowed our high schools to have 6 days, but we kept it at 3 for our elementary schools. So, and I believe middle schools.
So commonly, and when you're talking about these exempt days, because it's all under the rules now, anything for free is unregulated.
Yes.
But the exempt days deal mostly with fundraisers, correct? In
Correct.
terms of how those snacks are regulated when a school's trying to raise money.
So right now, if you want to sell something in school during a school day, number one, nothing can be sold during the breakfast or lunch hour. That time is off limits. But during the school day, it has to meet smart snack nutritional requirements. There's calorie, sodium, it has to be a whole grain or fruit or a protein. So pretty stringent requirements around nutritional requirements about what you can sell, and it has to be smart snack if it's during the school day. But if it is smart snack, then it can be sold during the school day.
Awesome. So I want to thank all of our viewers before we wrap up. I'm going to ask you, as we both Bob and Kelly, before we wrap up, to kind of think about one takeaway that you want everybody to. One thing you want our parents to know about food services, maybe that we didn't get to talk about today. I want to thank everyone for viewing our episode today. If there's something we didn't address, that was a question that you have, please feel free to email us. Reach out to us on Twitter. We'd be happy to get the answer directly to you of your question or concern. There's a lot of exciting things happening in food services and around Round Rock ISD, and we definitely appreciate having Kelly and Bob here to join us. With that, so Bob, what's one takeaway from our food program that you'd like our parents to know about?
Take advantage of the opportunities that are out there for your children, because, again, it goes back to being an educator. A grumbling stomach isn't a learning mind. So that's a very important thing to take away from this, and take advantage of those opportunities that are out there to get food on a tray in this case.
And Kelly?
I think I'd like to take the opportunity just to thank our staff. Those 350 workers out there. We've had people come in, and it's hard to find staff these days, especially 4 or 5 hour employees. And a benefit of Round Rock ISD is they do get benefits at 4 and 5 hours, which is great of our school district to provide that. But it's hard work. We've had people that hire and they realize, oh, that's hard work, putting out 350, 500, 600, 800, 1,000 meals. I think Cedar Ridge puts out almost 2,000 meals every day. And so just hats off, and I truly believe they are part of our superheroes. And so I just want to thank our staff for the work that they do every day to really put that hot, nutritious meal out for our students.
Awesome. Thank you again for joining us here on Rock Talk. More information on food services can be found at roundrockisd.org. Look at departments and for food services, or under the parents menu or students menu on the Round Rock ISD website. Kelly and Bob, thank you so much for joining us.
Our pleasure.
Thank you again.
And we'll see you next time on Rock Talk.